At first glance, this 172 may look like any other 172, but it actually has an updated avionics package that's rarely found in other 172s. It's about $42,000 in upgrades, including the latest Garmin avionics and even an autopilot. These avionics usually make flying it safer and gives the pilot a lower workload while flying, but I'll go through those details in a little bit. This plane has a great IFR platform that can also be used for instrument training. The most popular 172 model is the 172M, and that's mainly because of the Lycoming E2D engine being one of the best engines ever built. But actually this 172K also has the same engine as a 172M. There's only a few minor differences between them. This particular aircraft was hangared in the Midwest, has all logs since new, and has not been registered to a flight school. It was owned by an airline pilot, and while the paint is original, it's in decent condition and may have a few chips, but no corrosion. It's a clean airframe with no hail or damages and no damage history. Our mechanic did a pre-buy inspection on this plane and he was very satisfied with the condition of it. After purchase, we flew this plane at night. The controls are very smooth and it flies straight. Really easy to fly. Overall, this is an indication of how well maintained the plane is. It has some upgraded LED landing lights, and we're going to be installing new tires as well. Overall, the glasses are clean, although the rear glass is a little bit less clear compared to the others. This is a factory remanufactured Lycoming 0360 E2D, 150 horsepower engine. They can easily go over 3,500 hours before requiring an overhaul. Even in flight schools, the 172s with this engine will be used over 3,000 hours. This engine was recently inspected and had an almost complete overhaul. If they had replaced the cylinders instead of honing them, it would have qualified as a major overhaul. But since this had very good compression, there was no need to replace the cylinders at that time. It's a very clean engine with no leaks and runs very smooth. All other parts of the engine are also in very good condition. Let's take a listen and see just how easy it starts. And then hear how smooth this engine runs while accelerating. On the interior, we have nice leather seats with the wool fabric inserts that recline in the front and a 3-point safety harness. The carpets are clean, and the rear seats are in nice condition and comfortable. All the plastics are in very nice condition as well. Nice and clean headliner. And then we had that 3-hour night flight, and this projection light in the center is very helpful, along with the nice panel lights as well. There are air vents in both the front and the back for all passengers. The baggage area can carry up to 120 pounds. And this plane has a 4-place intercom, so even the passengers can use their headset jacks, and these are mounted in the rear, so that's actually out of the way as opposed to being on the armrests. And then there's also rosin visors in the front. On to the most interesting part. On the panel here, we have an upgraded digital attitude indicator. This actually displays a lot more information. It's almost like a mini PFD. It displays all of the main gauges with the information there for reference, and I really like it because it also displays the wind direction and wind speed in real time. This makes finding a good tailwind and landings on windy days a lot easier, so this information I find very useful. And it's also a good way to help learn glass panel being right next to the standard gauges. There's upgraded Garmin CDI with glide slope and a secondary CDI for instrument flights. A digital fuel scan 450, which is very useful, especially for longer flights. It shows the fuel flow and the remaining fuel, as well as the fuel used. It can also save you a lot of fuel when you're using it to lean properly, and helps keep it from overleaning and running hot, which isn't good for the engine. The center stack is completely upgraded Garmin. We've got a Garmin GMA 340 audio panel, a Garmin 430 WAS GPS Navcom, and that costs around $10,000 to install these. This shows the terrain and the traffic on the 430 WAS, which is very useful in flight. There's a GPS map, the 3496, which is a moving map, and some other features in there, and then the Garmin GNC 255 as the secondary navcom. The Garmin GTX 345 transponder is the most advanced transponder. It costs around $7,200 to install, and with the ADS-B in and out, including Bluetooth, gives you real-time traffic on the 430W, and also real-time weather and traffic through Bluetooth to ForeFlight or other apps. You've got a carb temp gauge, and even though carb icing is rare in 172s, you can see the temperature and make sure that you use the carb heat whenever necessary. This airplane even has a single-axis autopilot, which is very useful if you need to get your hands off the yoke. It can be a lifesaver if you ever end up from VFR into IMC, or even during the hard IMC flights. So almost all of these extra features are upgrades and not available in a standard 172. Remember, these electronics cost over $42,000 to install. They make a huge difference in the safety while flying and make a pilot's life a little bit easier. It's a well-maintained, great-running airplane with very useful upgrades. As always, thank you for watching, and please let us know if you've got any questions on this plane or anything we can do to help you out.